they need to do is make sure that they can shut him down in the early laning stage. Maybe put a tri-lane against that hero. At least that last draft, it was all focused on the Bristleback. He was the carry. He protected Hao until Hao got a Bloodstone. And as long as he kept Hao alive, then the damage was there. And Invoker could also be annoying and pick off heroes and give good team fights. So
there were a lot of musical lanes that game, actually. We talked about that early gank where Hao, who was the position 1 in the off lane, who rotated to gank mid, and then they did the switch where he went to safe lane and Bristle went off lane. Seemed to catch LGD maybe a little off guard.
Yep.
But with that, we've got a draft ready to rock and roll. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what Vici and LGD have in store for us here in Game 2.
Oh, boy.
Oh, mama, we've got some fun ones here. Slightly different openers. LGD taking out Gyro and the Broodmother. We saw that last game. But Rubik and Earthshaker banned out from Vici. Opens up for two very scary duos. Tiny Wisp on one side, Visage Dro on the other. Very different play styles. This is a draft. We got a game, boys.
It's planned by Vici here. They banned 2 AoE supports, basically. Ones that are good against Tiny Wisp. As you initiate, Fissure stuns both of you.
And now the Witch Doctor is their third ban. Another great hero.
Like they're only banning supports that counter IO and Tiny.
So they're going to ban Lina too?
Quite possibly.
Maybe they should just ban all AoE stuns.
I mean, they banned Lina last game.
Can you ban stuns?
Just spend their 35 bans on that.
Exactly.
They've got them all.
I would say Tiny Wisp is okay against Drow Visage if you either get a really good early laning advantage or if you get a fast blink. Drows in most games, they just go for the agility stack and they're like, I'm just going to help my team as much as possible. But I feel like that's something that Tiny could definitely punish if they get ahead. So at least looking at the draft right now, I feel like the Visage Tiny or the Visage Drow one looks a little scary, but on the plus side, because they do have Visage, they should have a pretty strong tri-lane. So they could potentially tri-lane the Tiny Wisp. I would say those 2 heroes are definitely weak early, so maybe we'll see Vici put those 2 heroes mid, then they're a bit safer, you can't really tri-lane against them, and then hopefully the rest of the lanes go okay for Vici.
Interesting 4th ban from Vici, though. They take out the TA, I guess. I don't know, not an obvious ban for me here.
It blows up Drow really easy, and you usually get Blink Dagger, so you can cap close really easily. And it's not like Drow has many damage sources; it's just right click. So I would argue that TA can blow up Drow. Maybe they're
so why did they ban it? Vici banned it against
I'm sorry,
Drow.
I was thinking it the other way.
I mean, maybe plays it sometimes.
Well, it's really good for the minus armor together with Visage from Meld Strike. Benefits a lot from the Drow aura. Maybe is a really good player on it. Like there's enough reasons to probably justify it. And the other thing is, if they were to pick the TA, you would be like, well, Tiny is a decent counter. Avalanche does 4 instances of damage. You almost remove the defensive refraction with that. But then you would have to lane it that way, and that would limit Vici Gaming's options if they want to deal with the Drow. So maybe, or sorry, with the TA. Maybe it's just a safer way to do it, just to get rid of it. And by the way, I wanted to mention as well, we talked a lot about Bristle, so now I feel like we kind of need to justify that it hasn't been picked or banned at all in the first 2 phases here. I think with LGD's heroes right now that if this was the old Visage, I think Bristle would be a good pick, because then he could just remove the familiars with the quills. But since the change to the birds and the fact that these 2 heroes combined have extreme single target physical damage, the Bristle would actually not be as good of a pick this game. So that's what I was talking about after the last game, is that if you give Bristle away, you need to really deal with him. And here they've already dealt with him in advance. Like if it gets picked up by Vici here, I don't feel like he's going to have that good at a game.
All right. Look who it is.
Can we cast in Danish?
The man without a tail. You know, I'm okay with that. I won't understand the lick of it, but if you want to do Danish play-by-play, Send, I will not complain.
Danish play-by-play. Wouldn't that be a treat?
Wouldn't that be a treat, huh? Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Treat for 1% of the audience.
If that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know.
40%, you know? Can't forget about that.
Best percent.
Where's the Danish love here? The best
I think we've got a biased cast here, boys. So how's it going, No Tail? How you feeling?
Oh, good. I have my morning coffee. Now I feel like, you know, my spirits are going up. It's all great.
Good hotbed interview? They get you pumped up for some Dota?
Yeah, no. Nah. That was a good interview. That was good.
So what are you thinking about this draft here?
Oh, boy. Drow Visage. We're in for a treat. I can't believe... thought Vici would be one team to respect that, but I guess they feel like they can beat it.
We saw Visage banned first round last game, but this one they just opened up with the Earthshaker Rubik. So
I mean,
guessing
these two
it's
teams
prepared.
Yeah, they might be prepared, but I think these two teams they fully understand what Draw Visage is about, and I would have thought that when you did that, you actually never would give it away, but I'm wrong. So I'm very interested to see. I also think Wisp is one of those heroes. When you fully understand it, you're not giving it away to a team that you think also understands it. But both teams are Wisp players, both teams are Visage players, and both in the same game right here. This is one of the more OP strats / heroes in Dota you can have, so it's going to be a very interesting game.
Exciting openers. LGD getting that minus armor now. Dazzle, Shadow Fiend. This is a pretty scary arsenal of ranged damage dealers.
Yep.
This is a game that Tiny doesn't do well in past the mid game. I think it's very important. You can also see the way Vici Gaming tailor their lineup. They're not going to go late. I mean, you can't go late against this lineup, right? You're against Weave, which is one of the best scaling support abilities. Late game, there's a Visage, arguably the best scaling support in the late game, and then a Drow Shadow Fiend. You don't really want to take this late, but LGD's lineup has a weakness, which is they have 0 stuns for the early game. Like when it comes to the early rotations, I feel like the Spirit Breaker can actually get a hell of a lot of work done, and I think it's why Vici Gaming chose to pick it. Again, they have this kind of approach where they have a clear partner with with Io, and then they have a secondary. In the last game, they had Io Bristle, and then they had Lishrak, who also benefit. This time you have Io Tiny, but you also have the Spirit Breaker who can use the tether. So it's a lot easier to play Wisp mobily in lineups where you don't have to stick with one partner unless, I mean, if it's a really good partner in the game, you can play it the whole game. Like Wisp Tiny just all game, but it's really good for a hero that isn't the most flexible ganker or rotator, that there are good targets to rotate to. Right. And Wisp Spirit Breaker is actually super scary at like minute 5. Can easily find kills in lane.
Yeah.
Well, at the moment, LGD, they have one thing in mind when you play against Wisp, and that is you want to group up. Because if you stay split up, you know what's going to happen with the one charge. You get scouted by the Hawk, and then you're just going to get picked off. You can't have that happen. That happens once. You start losing another tower or another kill because they can't start pushing S4. So what LGD is trying to combine or construct here is a 5-man lineup that's able to get everything they want uncontested. Like literally a death ball, now with another snowball, that you can't enter.
Whoa.
And Vici, they're all about picking you off and splitting you up. Once you get split up, you're gonna get Bounty Hunter, either Invis, Track, whatever, into Relocate, to Charge into Relocate, or the Roar into Relocate. So whenever LGD group up to get a tower, I actually think Vici in the early game have no chance of contesting them. But I have to disagree with Synderen in terms of, like, I think Vici, if this goes late game, the way this patch works, I actually don't think they have a problem. Visage Burst can't get MKB. If you want to get MKB on Drow and on SF, you're going, like, it's a very expensive item to get rid of this invasion. You're not going to be able to tank up on this.
So you mean against Solar Crest? Or?
You get Solar Crest on one guy, put it on the Tiny, he runs in with a Wisp. This is the one guy that can actually break them. They also need AC and Vlads and this kind of stuff, because you talk about the minus armor, but this is all sorted late game. You get the Crest, you get the AC, you get the Vlads. All this minus armor is not going to have an amplification effect anymore. Get evasion on top of this, he can just run in and he can actually break their 5-man. So I think in late game, mid to late game and super late game, I would prefer Vici's lineup. You're gonna be able to disable people for long enough for Tiny to wreck them. The one thing that got really interesting was the Tusk, though. He is also one of the best late game heroes. Counters big disables. So
I wanted to ask you about Tusk a little bit, because you played it yesterday, right, or the day before?
We played it against Vici.
Yeah.
It was the disastrous lone trade game.
Yes.
Tusk is a very, very strong hero. He has some of the best spells in the game. For me, very few teams actually ever understood him. I think the old DK does, sorry. And I think Ice actually learned from that too. Like, he was the one playing it for Vici, and I think he also understands what this hero is about and what it can do. The Chinese teams are actually the only ones touching this hero, and some Russian teams, as far as I know. That's pretty funny. Like, usually the Chinese teams, they wouldn't have heroes that Western teams never played, you know. And this is one of them. One of those actually action-packed heroes that you can make moves with that they have that we don't have.
And we've talked about Tusk a lot of times in previous tournaments. Like, this hero seems like a hero that has one of the highest skill caps in the game with what you can actually do with Snowball if you pull it off.
Yeah.
Frozen Sigil, in my opinion, a massively underrated ability, even though it's already regarded as really good. It's like insanely good, actually, when you look at what it does. And for the purpose of the type of lineup that wait, who was it? It was LGD. The way they want to play this lineup, when it comes to this organized, this push timing that Notel is talking about, if they indeed don't want to go super late game, if they want to play it like the mid game 5-man type of style, then Frozen Sigil is going to be a really big problem for Tiny. It's going to be a really big problem for Spirit Breaker, because there are 2 melee cores that need to go in and hit that damn thing, and they actually can't reach it, most likely. So there's some really good utility in that for LGD, I think. And then the question is how much work they can get done if they can get some nice, of course, ice shards off that set up for maybe an easy Requiem or bird drops or whatnot. There's some pretty cool synergy.
And you see already the Bounty Hunter trying to do some sneaky plays in the mid lane here. I think that's him just venturing around Yap FY, getting some scouting intel, looking for stray couriers. This is another strategy that you've done a fair bit, Notel. The Bounty Hunter, mostly against Chen and junglers, but what do you think about the position 4 or 5 Bounty Hunter?
I really think it's a good pick. Our game, it didn't work out because you have to make sure of certain things. You wanna, if you're doing the Chen matchup, you wanna have the 1v1 with Chen. You can't have like a support that's not on the leash. You know, he needs to be stuck somewhere.
Yeah.
Because then you get the one-on-one with Chen. But in general, a position 4 Bounty Hunter can cause so much havoc. Like right now, what he does here, coming in from behind. They're probably not gonna. Oh, what the hell?
That's a bash. Needs one more.
One more. Come on, you can do it.
Maybe they'll have
the
this.
tricks.
More auto attacks.
Oh, it's not. They have a self. Okay.
All right, MMY just barely gets in the way there. Close call.
Look at this double way that's happening though. This Bounty Hunter can cause so much havoc on the lanes early game. And if you're winning the lanes and you start getting pickoffs, if you're allowed to get pickoffs with this new track and the new kills in this patch, they give you so much. You're gonna get a half a dagger and 2 kills with track on a support.
Okay.
It's funny for me to look at this draft. We've like in the past, there's been like this how to explain it, a way of narrowing down Dota to make it a little more basic and more digestible when it comes to strategy. Some people are talking about the rock paper scissors effect with gank, push, and turtle, right? As one counters the other, and it obviously isn't that simple, right? But this game for me is fun to watch because it really looks like the one lineup is just playing push and the one lineup is playing gank.
That is actually what's happening, yeah.
And then if the gank team fails, they will lose this game. Like I can't imagine Vici Gaming actually managing this if they don't manage to find pickups early. This time they probably will.
Go first blood on the way. Bash.
Oh my god, they're gonna get both of them here.
Oh, he at level 2, so yeah, definitely dead Drow Ranger.
Easy peasy double kill for FY on the Bounty Hunter.
All right, that's what they needed.
There you go. What a
This
start.
is what they need, exactly. If this does not happen, this is not looking good for Vici at all, from my experience.
The Dazzle mid kind of punishes them. Obviously, it helps the Shadow Fiend, but if he was bottom, they could have definitely saved both of those deaths.
Did you see what happened in the LGD Secret Series with the Wisp Bristol versus SF?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of resulted that, I think. They can't leave him alone. Like, if Wisp Tiny plays good, oh, Bounty Hunter coming in from behind?
Yeah.
Nah.
Looking for straight couriers.
Dazzle took the bottle and worked as a courier.
Respecting the Bounty Hunter. I like
So
that.
the question is, when they drafted this SF, what did they see from Vici at that point? They had seen Wisp, Tiny, I think, and Spirit Breaker? Or
Yes, those were the first 3.
they had seen those 3, right?
Yes.
So that makes me wonder, is like, No-Tail, do you feel like LGD went a little bit too... we're obviously super early in the game, but do you feel like they focused a little bit too much on this whole physical damage mid-game push, and that the Shadow Fiend could have been a more self-sustainable mid-hero like a Queen of Pain that wouldn't be as easy to dominate with Wisp Tiny, or...
Yeah, I was in trouble.
So they could have moved Dazzle somewhere else, maybe.
The reason why SF looks... is it's still a ground courier at 350.
Oh no, he's gonna die too.
And they get
my god.
Why is that
There's a
courier
TP
not
from
upgraded? Snowball forward. Dazzle comes in. He does have a grave available.
Thinking about it.
All right, they'll keep the Tusk alive, but nice courier pick.
That's really good composure for FY.
Look at the Shao 8 now has to go back to base. You don't... Oh, they actually ate the mango. They're gonna get him here with the ice shards. No.
Oh, maybe not. Out of sentry range. He's good.
No, Snowball. Another
right.
sentry. They're gonna get him.
7-second skill shot. All right, they know.
Okay, he's dead.
This actually gives so much now compared to the old patch.
Still, he took out 2 sentries and a courier. I think that was worth his life.
Oh, that was worth it, and made the opponents move for so long. Like this whole thing about moving back and all this. This is like they know where the Tusk and the Dazzle are, so yeah, it makes the mid lane so much easier for them. You see, SF was now forced back into the woods.
Wow, here's a fun stat. LGD is the lowest percent of first bloods at the Summit 3 of 41%. Interesting.
That's interesting, yeah.
Gust is really nice against charge.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that would work, but wow, that's amazing.
That's very nice. So what did you think about the Shadow Fiend thing? You were about to say something and then the fight broke out.
Yeah, the reason why it looks so delicious is obviously because of Drow, range hero, minus armor, it's damage. Second of all, is he is one of the best mech heroes in the game. Can farm it, can carry it well, but he's also one of the hardest heroes to go on. So when you're wanting to do this strat that already has so much physical damage with the ability to take towers, if you're impossible to go on, how do you solve this problem? And SF just adds on to the charge on Xiao 8. Xiao 8 not catching a break.
Well, he
bashes. My God!
The Bash Lord's here. He does have a shallow grave.
He has a shuriken though.
He can grave TP.
Oh, they almost
No
landed.
shuriken. Still level 2. Oh, he might go in for this. No.
They forced a rotation again though. Actually, the TP was cancelled.
TP was cancelled.
Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Hao doing some damage to maybe. A charge will come through. He was tethered up. He'll bottle. I think maybe he's going to be fine. They'll cancel this one.
Oh, he actually
Xiao
bottled
8
and
TP'd
salved
mid.
there.
For what reason?
Who TP'd mid?
To get bottled.
Xiao 8 TP'd mid from like bottom tier 2.
Strange.
I mean, he's just camping him for potential turnaround on mid, I guess. He wants to send you for the bounty hunter too, by the looks of it. There's already a Hawk setting up for mid though. Like, Vici are definitely the aggressors in this game, putting a lot of pressure on all the lanes, forcing rotations. Charge down to mid. Xiao 8, they saw Xiao 8, I believe, from the charge vision.
Cancelled again.
Does they get vision of the hero that is charging? Like their vision?
Yeah, it's like
It's like
with track.
Slar ult or
It's like
whatever.
track?
Or
Okay.
track.
It's like track. So if you charge an Ice Stalker with Aghanims.
That's pretty good. Well,
This Tusk is actually getting some farm. He's got
so is the
15 CS.
Beastmaster.
Yeah, Beastmaster's
We
getting a
haven't-
lot of farm. We haven't seen this lane much, but
we haven't really talked about it. This is actually, correct me if I'm wrong, has this just been like a one-on-one lane up here the whole time?
Pretty much,
With the
yeah.
threat of the roaming bounty hunter coming up there once. And Super is 42 CS against the 17 of Tusk. He should win the lane with Beast for sure, but this seems like a
Sylar.
very major difference.
Gust again.
Patience, sir.
FY should have gone for the Shuriken animation cancel.
That would have been good.
Yeah. Is he going straight Dagon? I think he's going Dagon this game for sure. But the casual null talisman picked up by him, which is nice.
Yep.
I'm a fan of the Soul Ring though.
So what do you think LGD needs before they 5-man? They need a mech, they need level 6 on Visage, they need
6 on Drow.
6 on Drow, and I guess that's it?
That is
when
what
they have
is
that, they'll just go,
the
right?
minimum requirements. When you start getting Weave and Punch and higher levels in Ice Shard and all this, it becomes better. But I think you gotta go as early as possible. You don't want to stay spread for any longer than you have to. They're just picking up all the XP they need and all the farm they need right now to make their lineup come together.
And I think even though LGD, they got the double kill bottom for FY on Vici Gaming, and he got the courier. I still think LGD's game plan is actually working out just fine for now. Only having 2 deaths at mid 8 is pretty good, I think.
Yeah, it is.
It's good
But,
enough, at least.
I mean, it's gonna obviously speed up when this maybe potential dagger on Tiny. It looks like a drums, but when the relocate comes into play, that's when things are gonna speed up.
What do you think about drums on Tiny? I see mainly the Chinese teams get it.
I mean,
Instead of fast blink.
Era still gets it.
I've been playing the Wiz Tiny with Era for a year where we did drums non-stop.
Yeah.
Like, drums is an amazing item on that guy. You have to look at your lineup and look if it's gonna need the blink on Tiny, and also look at the enemy team. But sometimes you have to look deeper than that and say, I actually need this HP. This HP is gonna win me the game. And obviously the aura is actually really big. So, nice Ice Shard coming in, but no punch.
Plus,
There was a
drum
punch.
attack speed was
Weird.
buffed as well in it, so 20% now for the active, so that'll help
Yeah.
the Spirit Breaker a lot.
Got doubled.
Yeah.
And they have the aura from Beastmaster as well, so they'll have a lot of attack speed now in the fights.
Yeah, good point. Nice.
It might
synergy
help
there.
them against the Death Wall.
And they also need the, like, Beastmaster versus Sigil kind of evens it out. Like,
Yeah, it's true.
You see some heroes are actually useless versus Sigil, but Beastmaster can pull them back.
Pretty quiet game, though. Only 3 kills in about 10 minutes. Everybody happy, just sitting back, farming
it's
away.
It's destined to speed up, though.
Oh,
There's, no way around that.
How's the progress towards the mech on the Shadow Fiend? He's got to be pretty close to it at this point. Oh, no,
I
maybe
think he has a lot of on him.
Is it on the courier? All right, he's got a buckler.
Yeah, and a headdress.
Okay, he's getting there.
Yeah, he's got it like minute 11, I think. Maybe minute 12. Yeah, probably minute 12.
Arcane Boots Bounty Hunter.
He can't be going Midas. You can't be serious. I really don't think he can go Midas on Spearbreaker. This is not the game where you can afford that. Oh, they're actually gonna...
They might find maybe here.
Maybe. He's completely alone.
He does get the bounty rune. He's got a friend nearby. Tusk comes in. FY takes decent damage off this. The raise gets him. Now we'll relocate. LGD in some trouble as the Shadow Fiend gets popped. Now Yao trying to get aggressive here. Nice silence from Sylar, but it's just not enough. Tiny going man mode. Sorry, that's the Spirit Breaker, but wow, great rotations from LGD. It'll end as a 1-for-2 trade with Vici on the back foot.
Vici are very happy here for that. They're very happy about that. Killing this SF is really, really big. Ice dying obviously gives a lot. You see the XP change and gold change favoring LGD, but there were 5 heroes there. Yeah. Wisp and Tiny, they went back. Oh, they're actually going to go in again.
They want Yao. Shallow Grave comes out. Can Yao actually survive here? Tiny wants it. Minions will chase him down. Sylar TP's in. Toss onto Xiao 8. Snowball across. How setting up the kills.
Wow. They got so much value out of Tusk there. He was dead, but jumps back in, stuns 2, ice shards 2 as well.
I meant to say Yao, but Hao and Yao are just too close in the heat of the moment.
How good is Sigil is level 1?
Really good.
I think it's a value point.
20%, 10%.
The scaling of that.
It scales well, but level 1 is definitely good. Bashes onto maybe. There's another Wisp Tiny combo. They pop the Shadow Fiend once again.
That's level 6 for Bounty. That's really important.
Big kill there.
This is when it starts... It has the potential to get out of control, but I think did maybe manage to grab his mech there because he got one of the kills mid. I think he has it. Yeah. So it's not that bad for LGD then. Like this is the biggest item for their lineup in the first at least 20 minutes. That mech is absolutely crucial.
Holding number 1 on net worth. MNY might not be so lucky. How?
No, they missed.
Can't quite punch him. Ooh.
In the old patch, that could have worked.
Would that actually? I feel like there still was like a limit in the old patch.
Maybe that wouldn't work. But I'm sure it's not gonna.
Good old 700 melee attacks.
but now, what is the miss range? I think it's
350.
Yeah, I think it's 350.
Nice.
So that would have like no chance for working in this patch. But close call. But again, like Vici, they actually decided to speed this game up before. Like they don't give LGD a chance to group up. Like, but now they're 4-man mid. Don't have Visage Birds though, but...
Another interesting stat here. This is Fenrir's first time playing Wisp in 2015.
Oh yeah, I actually didn't notice that.
Yeah.
That is Fenrir Wisp.
Yeah, they changed it around.
Yeah.
Seems to be doing fine.
Yeah, it's just an interesting change. I guess FY wanted the Bounty Hunter this time.
Look at that.
Oh my.
Value.
Alright, well Dazzle heals him up, but still. That's nice.
They traded tower here.
They get the deny. Nope, Dro gets the last hit. Tiny gets the hit on the other tower in the top lane.
And
They might get bot too.
Oh, it'll be... Oh,
So
2
now-
for 1 for Vici.
You're really
they're
happy with
trying
this
to-
if you're Vici, I think.
They're trying to split them up.
Yeah.
He actually did go Midas. I do not agree with that. Was really good. But what Vici are doing right now is making LGD think a lot. Like they have to be really careful about what they do here.
They're starting to converge. Looks like the tower down bottom will stay standing for now. I think
4
Spirit Breaker
checks.
pulled a creep wave off. Tiny with a stun on 2. Dazzle doing a lot of sustainability here.
I like the poking they're doing. They're actually going to go in. They catch him with the ice shards. Punch as well. Wisp should be dead. Goes down. Roar on maybe as well. Axe is coming through on 3 heroes. Dazzle might fall after, but the mech heals him back up.
Nice grave.
And the pigs are going to die.
Oh, they're going to go back in. Big stun toss.
Whoa, big damage. Tiny goes down, but they traded for the Shadow Fiend. Now the charge across, super in deep. They'll be able to finish off the Dazzle, but a gust from Sylar. It's a chaotic fight here in the mid lane. Who's going to find the better of it? Nether Strike from across the side will finish off the Visage. Yao and Sylar just trying to make the escape. Ice Shards almost clip him, but the Space Cow makes it out. Oh, lots of close calls here, but it's Vici that take this fight.
It's such an incredibly well-played fight from Vici, in my opinion. Like the way they kite them around, they set up the fight. They actually willingly took a 4-on-5 for a good 20 seconds, just expecting that they could slowly harass them down, get any sort of opening at one point, and then bring down one target after the other. Killing the Shadow Fiend there, obviously got Tiny killed to the Death Requiem, but easily worth it for the payoff with track kills.
You see what's happening, like the Shuriken bounce and the toss is coming in, trying to force out these mechs. so that when Tiny went in for the round 2 and with the roar, all of that stuff was on cooldown.
Yeah.
Tiny went in on the dazzle to force the grave, so when you could go back in, all this stuff, like, it was really well played fight. This is what they have to do to like really control the game right now, though, is to try and take these fights now. They can't give Vici what they want. Okay, birds are up now, though. But this makes it a lot harder. But that was a lot of money going into Vici's pocket.
There's the mech popped. And again, Vici just split pushing around. They'll lose the tier 1 in the bottom lane, but they get the tier 1 mid.
And Beast is really good at split pushing. This is another benefit of the pick here for Vici Gaming is he's got a Necro book, which is a lot better now than it used to be on level 1. He can take the tier 2 while the rest of LGD are doing this. And all these tracks just give so much information to Vici. They don't need to be scared in the same way as you usually would with split pushing, because they know who's porting away and when they are. So
Charge is coming.
just trade
Besides, if the track is on Tusk, who's going to TP in and do anything, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So they will hand over the tier 2 bottom lane. They don't get... Okay, they get the tier 2 top, still even trades.
Damage on the mid tower, too. So, not really even. Like,
That's
slightly
good enough
favoring
for
Vici.
Vici, I think.
yeah. Although all the items that LGD are getting right now still have more value than Vici's, because the items on Bounty Hunter and Spear Breaker, they don't go into the same stuff as LGD. LGD has still get more damage out of every item they get. Every tank item they get more damage, because Drow is a very strong hero.
What's this? He's getting Vlad's Spear Breaker.
Still can't get used to that headdress change, man.
Yeah, they need to rack up that AoE armor. I agree 100% with this pickup. Maybe it shouldn't be the Spirit Breaker getting it, but someone has to do it.
It should be the Wisp for him, and I don't think Wisp can.
What does he have on Wisp? Cloak or... He's probably getting Glimmer Cave.
Somebody has to have a Basti though, right?
He hasn't...
SB just bought one.
Right, with the Vlads, of course. But nobody had a Basti for the last fight.
Correct.
Isn't it more important that Wisp gets a mech, though? I mean, if they're
mech
worried
is-
about winning a team fight at some point.
I just don't think he feels like he can afford it.
You can't really get it in almost always games, like, at a good timing.
Wow, that's a good timing on the Aghanim. 16 minutes. With drums before that, pretty solid. They revealed the
wow.
smoke on an illusion.
That was a good bait. He sat far enough away that the smoke would break, that they would think that it was the illusion when in reality it was fake. That was really well done by FY.
Oh, this is Vici, I think, are outskilling them by a small margin. But yeah, it's definitely high-level Dota we're watching right here. It's very nice to see all these small things. Tusk picked up a drum.
Oh, they're relocate. Here they go. Wow.
The moment, it just takes 2 seconds of Shadow Fiend being away from his team, and they just seize the opportunity
Look at
instantly.
the other four. They're just completely clumped together.
They're gonna go for
And
more
they're
now.
in trouble now, maybe.
I like the movement speed. Oh, the charge is coming through. They've got to stop this.
Maybe he's already dead.
Great bird drop.
What happened with the birds? They're like above ground.
Oh, you know.
Graphics bugged out, yeah. There's one. Can they get the other?
Yeah, they got.
This
that's right,
ruins the
51.
5-man a lot too, killing these birds. The 5-man becomes so much weaker.
He just resummoned at least, but.
Yeah, he's resummoned now.
Ooh, can they take Roshan time? I think they do have Medallion, right? Yeah, they do.
Who has it, actually?
Bounty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he went back for the mana boost and medallion, just a casual null talisman. I wonder what he's gonna go, because that's always interesting to see what bounty hunters pick up.
Yeah.
Because it could be so many things.
You mentioned Soul Ring earlier. Do you like the arcane boots better?
I see that he does it. I think he does it mostly for his team, because for me it's better. I feel better playing bounty hunter with the soul ring. It's a greedier item, but it makes you can give something back to your team too if you're able to crush the fights. Oh, the smoke is too late.
Right. Well, easy Roche for Vici, but smoke from LGD revealed by FY. They put a sentry down, but they can't quite find him. Ice shards will be off the mark.
He is playing them so hard this game on that bounty hunter. It's actually unbelievable.
Yeah.
First, he owns bottom lane with a double kill. He snipes the courier. He forces rotations twice. Now he's broken 2 smokes single-handedly. Kept all the information in every single fight for it to not break out. Like this is how you play bounty hunter.
And he's forced out a lot of
It's actually
sentries without having to feed away his
that's
life.
another thing.
It's very impressive.
So the death ball goes mid. The rest of Vici Gaming is going to go split. Even FY cutting the creep wave by himself.
And there's one thing we haven't talked about at all, actually, which is in the new version, Bounty Hunter track, you can actually see how much gold the targets have.
Oh, yeah.
It's an extra layer of information that's really nice when you're playing against a timing lineup like LGD, so that you can get an idea of how close they are to hitting their peak.
Right.
So they see the mech, maybe the next key item they're looking for is when does Drow have her follow-up to Yasha, which could either be a BKB or a Manta, or
Knowing about buybacks.
maybe an SNY, and buybacks as well.
Oh, transferred though.
Okay.
All right, he's going to die for that one. Maybe? Yeah, he's surely dead, right?
He's got a... Okay. Didn't
trade.
force a
Okay.
sentry.
But good courier snipe once again.
It's like getting a tower, which is good if you're against a 5-man lineup, because then you have more gold to team fight them.
I think LGD are like 10,000 gold behind now.
Oh, you can take a look at the graphic. Wow.
That's...
You're amazing. Wow.
Good math.
The Midas on Spirit Breaker is now paying off, though. Luckily, they split pushed well enough that he's now getting good item accumulation.
So it's a high-risk, high-reward pickup.
Yeah, it
I
worked
agree
out.
with No Tail. I wouldn't have preferred that item either, but now that they got away with it, it's going to take them... It's going to give them a good shot at taking the game late enough, because I don't think Vici Gaming are looking to like high ground, say, minute 30. I think they're going to need to get past the timing window where LGD's lineup is the scariest and get a couple of key items like No Tail talked about. Get a Kiras for sure, get a Solar Crest probably if they can on the Bounty Hunter, and then maybe with the Aegis they can have... That's probably going to be the second Aegis in that case. They can have the timing.
I mean, in all fairness, I might be looking at it wrong too. There's certain heroes that can actually benefit from the Midas itself to make it so worth it, like Lifestealer.
Yeah.
Lifestealer Midas is like not just for farming, it's also for your feast and for fighting. So knowing that
bashes.
Midas is not as useless as it is on like a Morphling or a Chaos Knight or whatever.
Yeah. It's not just for the farm, it also gives you attack speed that's benefited from your skills. Roar on Zhao Wei.
Important target. He's gonna snowball.
Oh, nice.
Beautifully done.
Where's he going, though? Onto the creeps? Oh, yep.
Yep.
Zhao Wei.
Forward.
Mech as
Nice.
well. He's going to stay alive. Urn's broken. ISS running for his life, but he can re-engage in a second.
They're
He's got
losing. Oh my
Oh, they've
god.
already lost the tier 3 tower. Now LGD trying to retreat. They'll get caught out. Yao going to be the first to go down. It looks like MMY caught by the Nether Strike. He'll actually be the first casualty of war. They repel the barracks down bottom, but they
Man.
lose a tier 3 and take a 2-0 loss.
Vici Gaming's doing this so well.
Oh, they might be going back in. Is he bringing
He
the
doesn't
tiny?
have charge. Or he doesn't have his ult. There's no way.
Wow, that was
God, he's
brilliantly
so
executed by Vici.
Now they actually nullified the birds with this Crimson pickup.
Solar Crest on the Bounty Hunter, and it looks like a Crimson, coming for Ice.
Yeah,
And an Assault Karas around the corner. This is getting out of control.
I don't even think SF has max levels in the minus armor yet. So they're gonna have he does.
To me,
One
so
level.
3 out of
far,
4, yeah.
so far, this game is the most standout performance from any team we've seen in the tournament.
I agree. They're playing so
This is
well.
actually phenomenal play from Vici Gaming all around.
It's like they have map
really
hacks.
beautiful to
They're
watch.
playing it so correctly.
Well, they kind of do. They've got charge and track. They've got a hell of a
true.
lot of vision.
And Hawk.
And Hog, yeah, that too.
Just need a nice stalker with Octarine core and you're good to go.
Do you feel like it's really good? The Octarine thing?
It depends on, like, strategically you could always argue like getting this E-Blade or
Hex.
Glimmer Cape. You could get the Hex, but in all honesty, if you have a Hex on your team, a Night Stalker has the option to get the Octarine core. Octarine core leaves 9 seconds downtime on your nighttime. So if you're picking Night Stalker to ruin initiation, why not get Octarine core for perma night? It depends on, is there some slots that you need to fill out? Are they going in?
Yeah, they are. Stylar actually takes a primal
no.
war.
Oh,
So
no.
light of the
Pulling him out of
base.
position.
Oh, Tusk, high risk, high reward. And this time, well, it's pretty risky. Yao.
He's okay for now. There's the slow, though.
Why?
Bottom lane as well at the same time.
They're trying to repel this push. Barracks are still standing. Tiny going for the melee barracks. He'll get it.
So they're doing a great job splitting LGD up. They don't want to do a 3-man push and a 2-man on the other side. Slow on Ice. He might go down. Soul Assumption's going to put him low. He lives.
Now the rest
More
of
tracks.
LGD, do they want to push out of the base here? They need to be careful. Right back to it. How the Whomping Willow goes for the ranged barracks down here in the bottom lane.
Oh, it's backdoor, I guess.
Good timing.
Wow, that's fortunate.
What does Dazzle do to stop that? Does he even have Poison Touch? It won't even do anything.
I don't think he does. Nope.
I mean,
pure
you-
defensive.
You need like 4 points in that skill before it actually becomes really good. I think everything before that is just kind of bad.
Oh, it's actually so sad and funny at the same time. This SF standing next to the racks. Look at me, come on, guys. Look at hit me, just stop hitting the building, man. They didn't care.
And then he uses a Requiem
Then he
that deals
uses
like
Requiem.
300 damage.
Stop hitting my building, man.
BOTs and this for the Beastmaster, and now a Blink for Super as well.
Vici
Oh,
are
boy.
using their lineup so well. They're actually using the heroes they're dealt. The way they can use the global map, many teams will probably look to just 5-man straight up because we're stronger, heady day. they forced the Dazzle Shadow Fiend bottom, and look what that matchup did to Wisp Tiny. They couldn't do anything. So Vici were left to 3v3 on top. And what can they do 3v3 top? Like, they also win that matchup. So they're actually using the heroes they're dealt with, like, to the perfect extent. They're not messing around here.
Oh, Blink Dagger now on the Bounty Hunter. Interesting.
It's so good.
It's a really good idea.
if they dust you, you're like, okay, I'm gone. You blink away. Force them to blink after you. A lot of the supports can't chase that. So
there's also that you get the track in with like you get the track in, you reveal yourself.
you can snipe couriers easier. Like there's so many good ways that it keeps you alive. You can initiate instantly instead of having to walk in and chance gem.
20k gold.
Well,
14K
LGD know
XP.
what's up. I think this is the right call.
The YOLO smoke?
They can't keep playing the way they've played so far. They have to just try for it. And it's an all-in that has a very low chance of working, but if they keep playing the same way, they're ultimately just going to get torn apart.
And Hal just goes straight for the mid lane himself. He's already on the high ground. Radiant Glyph comes out. Now the Dire.
They're gonna get a Rax.
They'll
I
lose
think.
their tier 3.
Here comes Charge. On Dazzle, 4-man charge, running away after.
They're just trying to make space, man. I think they're going for tier 4s in the base. They are.
Okay.
They're going for the win here. Forget about the barracks. They know LG's all in.
I mean, LG is going to go for it too, and they have a Drow, so their heroes are hitting really hard. But can they beat a Tiny? I think they got a building already. One building down. There's another charge slowing them down.
This is surprisingly close right now, given how
Roars
far
well.
ahead LGD, or pardon me, Vici are. Snowball forward. They can't focus the
Are they
structures,
going
though.
on Rax? I think they're throning it.
Yeah, they are.
It.
Thrown down to about half health. Still a tier 4 tower standing on the Dire side. Radiant
charges
heroes getting
again.
low. Oh my god, the entire team getting charged here. Maybe with a big Requiem.
Oh.
It cleans up 3 on the Dire
But they got
side.
it fed.
Buybacks aplenty, but it doesn't matter.
So they won the fight, but they couldn't stop the throne from happening. That was pretty exciting.
That was a surprisingly epic ending to that game. That was looking one-sided.
How about Ice, though? How many charges did he get off that stunned 4 heroes on the enemy team? Like, that's exactly what he needed
3
to
at
do.
the end right there.
It's, 12-second cooldown after you connect with it, so he would charge in and run out immediately, charge back in, run in immediately. If he got caught any of those times by the Ice Shards, he could have just died right there, and maybe they could have TP'd back. It was low chance of them winning there, but they definitely made it a bit close.
Like Cinderin said, I think it's the right play. You can't just sit back and slowly bleed out at that stage.
I mean, if they didn't make that play, I don't think they would have got barracks the whole game. Like,
Yeah.
this is the closest they were going to get. And you just saw with their lineup at minute 25 how fast they actually took the base with a 20k deficit.
Yeah.
If this early game would not have been an absolute slaughterfest from Vici Gaming, where they played, like I said, in my opinion, the best game of the tournament, I think this could have gone to game 3. Draft-wise, LGD had a way better shot this time than in game 1, but they just got outplayed.